Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. For today's video, I am going to be doing another declutter video and I'm going to be getting rid of a big amount of fragrances. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Amy. I do videos on all things girly, especially videos on smelling good. If you like that type of content, don't forget to subscribe before you leave today's video. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. And with that said, if you would like to see the fragrances that are going to be leaving my collection, just keep on watching. Before I get started with the declutter, really quickly, I'm going to be sharing my lip combo. So for my lips today, I am wearing this NYX matte lip liner in the shade Cold Brew. It is a very nice brown lip liner, but it's not too dark, but it's not too light either. It's like the perfect, almost like a chestnut. Yeah, super, super pretty. And then for my lips, I have been trying to reach for makeup that I have in my collection that I haven't been reaching for so that I can get to know the things that I already own. So this lipstick is the first time that I apply this lipstick, and this is from Pat McGrath, and this is in the shade Christy. So this is how the lipstick looks, and it is like a matte pinky color, and I just wanted something to kind of make the center of the lip a little bit lighter because I did use a darker lip gloss. I was dying to use this lip gloss. This is from Fenty Beauty, and this is in the shade Hot Chocolate. Beautiful shade, beautiful brown shade, and it has like sparkles in it. Super, super pretty. So that is the lip combo for today. So now that I got that out of the way, I'm going to be doing another declutter video, and with each declutter, it's getting harder and harder. So I know that today I might smell one of these and might want to like change my mind, but I have to do this because, like I have told you guys many times before, I'm getting ready to move and the months are running down. It's already January, and we should be moving around August, September. I'm not too sure exactly which month. And you know that time goes by super fast. So I need to bring my collection down to, ideally, I would love to bring it down to like 75 perfumes, but I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I've been doing a lot of declutters, and this declutter just had a lot of fragrances that I need to just do it and not think twice about it. I'm going to be letting you guys know the reason for each one. Many of these I still love, so there's nothing wrong with a lot of these, just that I need to downsize. I think I went from like close to 200 fragrances. Right now I'm like 120 something or something like that. So let's see if I can get it down to a decent size. So let's go ahead and just start talking about the fragrances that are leaving my collection. So the first one I'm going to talk about is one that I really, really love. I always recommend it for spring, for summertime, and I'll probably end up picking up another bottle sometime in my collecting journey. And this is by Dolce & Gabbana, and this is Dolce Shine. And I really, really loved this fragrance for a really long time. As you can see, it has a pretty good dent going on. This is a really beautiful white floral with a beautiful juicy note of mango, and the name fits it perfect because it is like a ray of sunshine when you put this on. It just makes you think of just the sun, mangoes, fresh white florals around you. It just smells really, really nice. It's one that I wouldn't get rid of if I wasn't moving because it has like this juicy touch to it. It's beautiful. I still stand by everything that I've said about this fragrance. It's such a pretty one. It is very hard for me to fall in love with white florals because usually they're very sharp or they're just very strong. So I do get headaches from it. This one never gave me a headache, and I always enjoyed when I wore this one. Now I will say that lately I don't enjoy the note of mango as much as I used to. So it's still beautiful. I love it. Who knows if in the future you might see her make an appearance again, but for right now, I'm gonna find her a new home, unfortunately. This next one I am going to get rid of. It does not work for me. I gave it a pretty good review. I don't know if I already showed this one in a declutter because I haven't been able to take these to friends and family, but this is Carolina Herrera's Very Good Girl Glam. And when I first gave my review for this fragrance, I said that it was much better than the Very Good Girl, the original one. But as it sat in my collection and it stayed there for a few months, I picked it up to wear it, and it started to get sour, just like Very Good Girl. And I just don't do sour notes. I tried for a very long time to have fragrances that had lychee and rhubarb, and I always end up not liking them or not enjoying them. This one doesn't have those notes, but I feel like it still has something in there because it still gets a little bit sour. Let me go ahead and spray it just to make sure that no magical change has happened. When it first opens up, it's so pretty because I get way more of the almond in this one. I get cherry. See, like right now, it's actually smelling really nice. But when I put it on my skin, it turns sour and it's sharp, it's sour, and I just don't enjoy it on myself. All right, so the next fragrance that I'm going to be decluttering is from Gucci, and this is Gucci Guilty Absolute Pour Femme. I did get this, I think it was last year, and I did enjoy this one the couple times that I used it, but then I just never reached for it. So it's just not the type of fragrance that I usually go for. It's kind of like a woody rose from what I remember. And there was something nice to this one in the deep dry down that I loved. The opening is just not me. It's very, very woody, very strong, with a lot of rose. I get a lot of rose in there as well. It's beautiful. It's one of the prettiest ones that I have tried in like this kind of category of fragrances, but it's still not my favorite. It's still not something that I reach for, but it smells really, really nice. And I'm pretty sure that many people would enjoy this one if you're okay. I believe this has patchouli because I think I'm picking up on some patchouli. You gotta be okay with like a woody rose, but then it also has like a unisex touch to it, so it smells a little cologne-y as well, a little more than I would actually like. Next up is one that I went back and forth. I didn't know if I wanted to get rid of it or not, but I am going to declutter it, and this is Giorgio Armani's My Way. I know. So this one's going to be leaving my collection. I did get a little bit of a dent in this one the last time that I put it out on my tray, and I enjoyed it. It was really nice. I remember thinking, no, I'm not gonna declutter this one. I'm really liking it. But tuberose is getting really, really tricky for me lately, and I cannot handle it for a long time. So I started going through all my fragrances and looking at the tuberose fragrances that I have, and I wore So Scandal from Jean Paul Gaultier the other day, and I think that's my go-to fragrance when it comes to tuberose because the kind of smooth and creamy touch that So Scandal has, it just does it for me, and it makes the tuberose so much easier to wear. I still get kind of like that bubblegummy vibe with it, but it's so much more doable for me than My Way. And I also love Prada Paradox, which reminds me a lot of My Way as well, but I prefer the dry down of Paradox. So that's the reason why this one's going to be leaving, because I do have quite a few that kind of give me the same vibe. So I just went ahead and chose the ones that work the best for me. But this is still a beautiful tuberose. It's like a sparkling, flirty fragrance. The tuberose gives the fragrance like a bubblegummy touch, and then it dries down and you start getting more of the vanilla in here. So it's really nice, and I'm going to save this for my sister-in-law. Hopefully I can get it to her soon. Maybe she can come visit or something, but I know that she fell in love with this fragrance one time that we went to Sephora together. So since it's almost new, I'm going to give this to her. Next up, I'm going to be decluttering one that I added back into my collection thinking that it was, I remember loving it so much, but it just does not work here. It's too hot here for it, and the bottle is huge, so I will get a small bottle depending on where we move because I still don't know. So this is by Jimmy Choo, and this is the original Jimmy Choo fragrance, the EDP. And I remember loving this so much. If you go down to the first video on my channel, it was like 5 or 6 years ago when I used to do more makeup content. I was doing a favorites and I talked about this fragrance in that video. I almost can't believe that it was one of my favorite fragrances at the time because I'm such a patchouli, like I don't like it too much, but I did love this one in the cold, like in Miami's cold weather. Like this smelled so good at nighttime, and I did use it for like a lot of holiday events, and I still think that it's a pretty scent, but it's just not one that I could wear here. There's no way. It's just way too much, but it is probably the nicest fragrance that I have smelled that is so prominent with the patchouli in there. It's like a very patchouli kind of a little bit spicy. There's also like a gourmand type of vibe to it, but not too much, because I get more of like this fresh, spicy, bright patchouli. It's not a deep or dark fragrance to me. It's a little bit more on the fresh side, but it does so nice in winter time in cold weather. So unfortunately, that one's going to be leaving. Next up, we have Marc Jacobs Perfect. And I did declutter Perfect Intense, and now I'm decluttering Perfect, which I did love for a little bit. It's a nice one. I enjoy it, but it's definitely not a favorite. So that's what made me like make up my mind. This one's definitely one of those rhubarb fragrances where it's actually doable for me. It's a really pretty scent. I remember, wow, every time I smell it, I'm not gonna wanna get rid of it. It's beautiful for springtime. It's fresh. Oh my God, I don't know now if I want. Okay, we gotta do this. This is like a fresh scent. It does have a little bit of a sour touch to it from the rhubarb. There's almond milk in here. And the first time I smelled this fragrance, I was so turned off by it. I was just like, what is this? Because the combination of almond milk with rhubarb was giving me this very weird smell. But then I tried it again a few months later and I ended up loving it. But it's just not one that I would consider like, ooh, that's my all-time favorite. Like, I love it. This is pretty. I think it's really pretty for springtime. It's a fresh, fun scent. It's one that I'll be okay without, even though I really do love the scent of it. So nothing wrong with this one, but it is leaving. All right, this next one, I'm not sure if it's going to be leaving my collection because I thought that this fragrance had gone bad. This is Giorgio Armani C, and I really like this one. It kind of reminds me of the original C, like when C first came out. I remember loving it way more than the formulation that is being sold now. So I sprayed this the other day and it had this real funky smell, so I thought that it had gone bad. And one of you guys left a comment and told me to give it a few sprays to clear out the, I guess, the fragrance that had been sitting there. And I did do that and it is much better. So it actually did help. So thank you so much for that. I might be keeping this one because out of all of the C's, this one works on my skin much better, so I don't think this one's leaving. Now, another one that is a shocker that I'm getting rid of, it's not bad. You guys know that I always let you guys know that this is like a classic, a very nice fragrance to gift to people, and this is Lancome La Vie Belle. This is the original one, and the only reason why I'm going to get rid of this is because I prefer the En Rose much better. And there was a point, I believe it was around last year, I was going crazy buying flankers. Like, if I liked Lancome La Vie Belle, I bought every single flanker just to see which one I liked better. But now I have way too many flankers of stuff, so I had to kind of bring it down to like the ones that I love the most. So right now I love the intense version of this one, which has been discontinued. That's one of my favorite ones, along with the En Rose. Those two I love so much. Now, La Vie Belle, the original, I'm going to be decluttering, even though it's still a beautiful classic fragrance, beautiful to gift, beautiful for so many different ages, because I feel like it's feminine, it's grown, but it's still sweet. So a lot of people will like this one. I'm just going to be getting rid of it because I'm not reaching for it as much as I reach for the other ones. So yeah, this one is going to be leaving. And on the trade this month, I have the Intense Mint, which I want to test out to see if I want to keep it in my collection. And I am going to be getting rid of another flanker from the La Vie Belle line. This is the L'Eclat, I believe. So this is like the smaller bottle, and I really liked this one, but lately I have also been struggling a lot with Orange Blossom, which was one of my favorite notes when I first started really getting to know notes in fragrances. Orange Blossom was one of my favorites, but lately it's getting too cloying for me and like too sweet and thick in some fragrances. So in this one, it's beautiful. I still think it's a beautiful fragrance. It's sweet, it's thick. This one is leaving, but this one is very heavy on the Orange Blossom. Next up, I also wanted to clean out my Scandal collection because I did have a lot of flankers, a lot of legs in my collection. And I noticed that that line for me is one of the most beautiful creations that I have smelled in perfumes, they literally take me on like a ride. But at the same time, they're very hard for me to wear because I'm usually with my kids. I am a stay-at-home mom. I'm at the house. I'm working on my YouTube. When I get time to go out, it's usually things that are good for the family. I don't really have like a nightlife. I don't really go anywhere where I can wear those fragrances where I want it to be like super sexy and all of that. So having a lot of those types of fragrances is not the best for me because they're not going to get reached for that much. So it does hurt me to get rid of these. Hopefully I can get them back in my collection later on because I know that sometimes they're hard to find, but I have to do it because it just has to get done. So I'm talking about the Jean Paul Gaultier line, and this is Scandal. I am going to be getting rid of the original Scandal, and I'm going to be keeping Scandal à Paris, because I do prefer that one. That one is way more wearable in this weather. It's more wearable for me during the daytime or to go to have some dinner. It's way more doable. Now, Scandal is a thick fragrance. There is florals in here. There's a lot of honey in here. So it's a very thick, syrupy fragrance, and it's really strong. So just 1 or 2 sprays of this, and it's beautiful. This has blood orange or bitter orange. I think it's blood orange. And it's just a beautiful creation. If I think about it too much, I'm not going to want to get rid of it, but it's okay. Hopefully I can get my hands on it in the future. So that is Scandal. So I decided to keep So Scandal and Scandal à Paris. So I'm going to be decluttering Scandal by Night, which has been a favorite for a long time. And as you can see, the dent is so small for it being a fragrance that I love, that I consider a favorite, but I can't reach for this most of the time. I can't reach for this when I'm home. I mean, I can if I want to, but it just doesn't feel right. I feel like hopefully I can get my hands on this in the future when I can do more things and go to more places. But for right now in my collection, this is just taking up space and I'm not reaching for it as much as I would love. But this is a masterpiece, and this continues to be one that I will always recommend if you're looking for a sexy, cherry, very seductive nighttime type of fragrance. This is the one. Next time, I'm going to be getting rid of 2 Guess fragrances that I did get for an affordable haul. And the reason why I'm getting rid of them is because I do have fragrances in my collection that pretty much smell the same. So I have too much of the same thing. So the first one is Guess Seductive Noir, which is still an amazing dupe for Mon Guerlain by Guerlain. So if you don't own the original Mon Guerlain, this is affordable and it's pretty much a dupe for it. Yeah, really nice. It's really relaxing. The lavender in here is so beautiful. It's so nice. I don't have the original Mon Guerlain, but I do have a travel size. So that's why I'm trying to kind of size down and keep the things that take up the least space. But this is amazing. It's affordable and it smells just like Mon Guerlain. So if you're looking for a dupe, this is the one. And then I'm also going to be getting rid of Seductive Red. Now this one I loved so much when I got it. I was so happy because this has cherry, it has almonds, but it doesn't last on me. Like I can spray this on. It's so good. It's sweet. It's a little nutty. The cherry is very light. It's not too strong. But then literally like 15 minutes later, I don't smell it anymore. So unfortunately, that's the only reason I'm getting rid of this one, is it does not perform well on me. But it's a beautiful, affordable almond cherry type of fragrance. Next up, I'm going to be getting rid of this Jennifer Lopez fragrance, and this is called My Glow. I did use this for a long time, a couple of years ago. I thought that it was relaxing. It's a woody fragrance, but lately when I try to smell it, it's woody. Like, yeah, I think this fragrance went bad, honestly, because it smells very sharp. So it's halfway done though, so I think maybe it's gone bad or something. I have had this one for probably more than 2 years, or 2 years around there. So yeah, this one's time to go. Next up, I'm getting rid of Dior Pure Poison. And the reason why I'm getting rid of this one is because I recently got the new release from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. It's the 724 fragrance, and they smell very, very similar. I do prefer the 724 because this one, I love the dry down of this. I have always said that the dry down to me is magical, but the opening has always been a little tricky for me. It's a little sharp. It has a lot of aldehydes, so it's just the type of fragrances that are not my favorite. But the dry down turned into like this really pretty, sweet, clean scent, and the bottle is just so beautiful. So it's really, really hard to get rid of this, but having two fragrances that smell pretty much the same vibes, I don't need. So I'm gonna get rid of this one and I'm keeping the 724. Next up, I'm getting rid of 3 small Kayali fragrances just because I didn't enjoy these. This is Elixir 11. I get a lot of patchouli in here. This is supposed to be apple, patchouli, more of like a nighttime apple type of scent, but it's just not my vibe one bit. So this is like probably my least favorite fragrance from Kayali. And then I'm also going to get rid of Sweet Diamond Pink Pepper, which I wanted to give it another chance because the last time I got it, I took it right back. The next day after I smelled it, I didn't enjoy it. It's not as bad anymore. I do enjoy it more now, but it's still one that I'm not going to reach for. It does have like, I don't know, it kind of has like that woody vibe. The rose is very strong. It's just the pink pepper. It's just not for me. So I'm getting rid of this one. And then I'm also getting rid of Musk 12, not because it's bad or anything, but because I have so many of these types of fragrances. So I'm just gonna give this one away. I'm also getting rid of Cacharel. Yes, I am. Still a beautiful fragrance. I am picking up more of the spiciness in this fragrance. Yeah, I pick up mostly cardamom. That's all that I get in here now. I used to get creamy, sweet, like tonic vibes from this one, but lately all I get is cardamom, which I love cardamom. I love like the kick that it gives fragrances, but in here it's just a little too much. So I'm getting rid of this one. I'm also going to be getting rid of Victoria's Secret Bear. I don't know if I showed this in the declutter already. I don't remember the ones that were in the last declutter, but this one is going to leave. Doesn't smell bad either, but it's a little boring to me. And it has a violet note in here, which I do not enjoy violet in a lot of perfumes. It usually turns me off. So that kind of happened with this one. I wore it a lot to bed, but because I did enjoy the dry down of it, but I'm just over like having to put up with a scent that I don't enjoy too much just to get a dry down. I don't want to deal with that. I want to love the fragrance from the beginning to the end. So this one is leaving. I'm also going to be getting rid of one that's pretty much a favorite, and I know for sure next fall when I move and I do like a fall haul, because that's definitely going to be happening, I'm gonna get this one back, but I'm just getting rid of it for space purposes. So this is Azzaro's Wanted Girl. Nothing wrong with this fragrance at all. I still love it. If you watch any of my videos where I mention this, I still feel the same about it. Usually I like to take breaks from fragrances because I get tired of things very quickly. So since I'm going to be moving, I'll just take a break from some of these. And when I get them again, I'm pretty sure that I will enjoy them. This is like a fresh, spicy, sweet fragrance. It opens up very spicy because it does have ginger, I believe. And then there is dulce de leche in here, so it does dry down to a very sweet gourmand fragrance. So very, very nice for fall time. I did feature this in a declutter, but I kept on hanging on to it, thinking that I would end up liking it, but it's time to go. So this is from Zara, and this is Ebony Wood. It's just too masculine for me. This is a nice woody fragrance, spicy, perfect for fall time, for winter time, also really nice for layering, but it's just not my vibe. It leans too much towards the masculine side and very, very woody. So I need a little bit more sweetness or something, creaminess added to a fragrance. So I'm decluttering this one. Next up, I'm gonna be decluttering one that I didn't think I would end up decluttering, but I have always gone back and forth with this one. One minute I'm like, I don't really like it too much. Then all of a sudden I love it. I will say that it performs really, really great. It lasts a long time. I'm still going to stand by that. I'm just kind of noticing that I don't reach for it a lot. So this is Dolce & Gabbana, The Only One Intense. I got this for like $30 on FragranceNet a while back. This was like a tester bottle. So I got an amazing deal for this, and the fragrance does lasts a long time. There's apple in here. There's neroli in here. I think there's coconut. The coconut, I get it sometimes. Sometimes I don't. But yeah, it's a very pretty, feminine, sexy scent. It's perfect for date night. Perfect for like any type of date, really. But yeah, this one's leaving my collection. I did talk to you guys about Maison Louis Marie. This is number 4, Bois de Balancourt. So this is how the bottle looks. Very simple. I really liked this one when I tried it with the sampler from Sephora. But then when I actually got this, it is a strong, strong, woody fragrance. Like all you get is wood with this one. And it does get a little sweeter towards the dry down, but it's kind of like that sandalwood sweet where it kind of makes me a little sick. So this one, unfortunately, is not going to work for me. Next up, I'm getting rid of Givenchy's L'Interdit. And this is one that I was very sad to declutter because I think that this is like a classic, such a pretty classic, feminine, just very classy and put together type of fragrance. I see this being worn with like a black dress or somewhere formal to a wedding or something like that. But again, it doesn't even have a dent because all I do with this one is pretty much sniff it while I'm home, spray it on my hand and kind of admire it that way. But I noticed that I wasn't really picking it up to go out with it. So I was like, okay, I think it's time to let go of this one. But this one's beautiful. Oh, it's so beautiful. That makes me smell so good today. But I could get it again, so it's fine. I'll get it in the future. But it's just like a very classy vanilla. Am I going to get rid of this? I got rid of all of my other flankers, so this is kind of like the last one standing. Okay, this one's a maybe. This one's a maybe. I think I'm doing pretty good, but I might end up keeping these two. Not sure yet. But L'Interdit is one that I might declutter, and that one is just, there's patchouli in there. There is vanilla. It's like a very fresh, spicy type of fragrance. So this is tuberose. It's a white floral. So vetiver is what gives it kind of like this. It grounds the fragrance. It's not super sweet or cloying. I cannot do the EDT because it was just way too much lavender in there. But this one's really nice. So this one I might keep. I'm also getting rid of Juicy Couture Gold Couture, which I love this. The dry down is amazing. I'm just kind of over it for now. I did wear it a lot. It's just it's like berries, caramel, gourmand. It's sweet. A lot of caramel in this one. So if you love caramel, for sure, this is a really nice one. So it has similarities to Viva La Juicy. So I already have Viva La Juicy. So I'm going to stick to that one for now. So this one's going to be leaving my collection. I'm also getting rid of Prada Candy by Night, which I really loved this one last year. And then this year, I was very excited to wear this and to wear a fragrance that had chocolate in it, but it's not hitting the same way this year. I don't know. It's just not my vibe anymore. It's a very dark chocolate. Don't think of like milk chocolate. It's like a dark, little bit of a bitterness in there. And it's like a deep fragrance. So I still find it to be sexy. I still think it's great for the holidays, but it just wasn't giving me what I wanted. So this one's going to be leaving. I'm getting rid of another one that, these really hurt my soul, you guys. There are some that are not a big deal. This one is kind of like a big deal. But I prefer another flanker. It's like my favorite. So that's why I'm keeping that one. So this is Guerlain and this is Mon Guerlain Intense. I know. But I prefer Mon Guerlain Floral. It's more feminine. It gives me a little bit of florals in there. It is my favorite. And I don't think that it's available anymore. So this one is just a more intense vanilla. It's Mon Guerlain, but with way more vanilla in it, which I love vanilla. But I feel like I really, really prefer the floral version. And then the last fragrance I'm going to be decluttering is one that I loved for a long time. And I'm just kind of like over it. It's still good. I'm just not reaching for it like I used to. And this is by Guerlain as well. And this is La Petite Robe Noire Eau Fraiche. It's still my favorite from the La Petite line. I couldn't do the other ones. They were like too masculine leaning. They were too like medicinal. The original La Petite Robe Noire had the licorice, which I couldn't handle. And then the intense one had the really nice blueberry, but it smelled way too masculine. So this one has cherry in it. It has almond. I believe there's pistachio in here. I don't remember. And this one also can be unisex. And it's a very nice fragrance. I used to use it a lot for like running errands or during the daytime, but I'm just not reaching for it as much, and I'm just not enjoying it as much as I used to. So that is my declutter for the beginning of the year. I did get rid of a lot. In my collection video, I showed you guys that both of these drawers and then also this one down here has fragrance. And I told myself that if that bottom one got full, I would have to take a break. So I pretty much have the bottom one almost completely empty. There's only like travel sizes in there and maybe like 10 more perfume bottles. So I'm hoping to bring it down a little bit more with time. So that is going to be it for this declutter. Comment down below if you like any of the fragrances that I mentioned or the ones that you don't enjoy. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I will see you guys in my next video.